Cancel.
Schweezy.
So, it's time for what am I watching? What I'm watching on my TV, and y'all are interested in this for some fucking reason. So, we're not doing a movie review. We do have movie reviews, and we do have what I'm watching. I'm trying to split the two up. So, what I'm watching is an easier thing for me to create content out of. So, I have a Discovery Plus account. And Discovery Plus includes TLC, which is content that I'm a big fan of because I am also trash. I'm Kansas trash. And I know you're thinking, don't talk about yourself so sadly, if that's the best word for this. But remember, just because you're trash does not mean you can't do great things. That's why it's called Garbage Can and not Garbage Cannot. So miss me with your goddamn fucking bullshit. So anyways, I just so I went to the search in Discovery Plus because it has all the great TLC shows. TLC standing for the Learning Channel. For those of you who didn't know, the Learning Channel. Let's get into this. I found a show called. I typed in sex. I found a show called Strange Sex, and I've been binging that shit nonstop, and I haven't finished it, but. However, I have written down the episodes that make me laugh. There's a lot of episodes that don't make me laugh. Like there was a woman who was so traumatized. She was Muslim and her husband was Muslim. And so they basically did not have sex before marriage. And basically when she went to a gynecologist, I'm going to say it correctly. OGBYN. That's probably going to be easier for me to say. She went to an OGBYN to get like a pap smear, and she wanted to get on birth control because obviously when her and her actual husband have sex, she doesn't want to get pregnant right away. But like she tightened up like during the pap smear or whatever. I don't know what goes on during a pap smear. Will I want to know? Maybe someday, but I don't. And like she had like panic. Her vagina had a panic attack. She didn't have a panic attack, but her vagina did. And like basically her and her husband had to go like a year and a half into marriage before she decided to go to like some weird doctor who was like, all right, I'm going to finger you and then you're going to finger yourself. Now get comfortable with that and like get more comfortable. And then eventually your husband's going to stick your dick in your vagina. And that's the way it is. And a lot of thoughts I had while watching this show where it's like there are some couples in an idea where we haven't had sex for like 3 to 5 years. And I'm like, can you not give oral? Like, for real, like, okay, so you're a woman, you get, like, a severe disease every time you nut, like, when a woman nuts, and then you and your husband are not having a good time. Can't you just fucking blow your husband and, like, figure that shit out? That's an idea in my head, but I know with couples, it's a little bit more complicated. Every couple's, I know with me and someone else, it's a little more complicated, but, like, from the outside looking in, it's not that complicated, so... yeah, so I wrote down all the ones I thought were funny because this podcast is not made to bum you out. So let's get into it. First one I wrote down, 73-year-old former model goes on dates with 33-year-old men. So, you know, the idea with this, the 33-year-old man is like, you know, if you've never had sex with an older woman, you're missing out. But the 73-year-old woman's like, I got married super young, and when I eventually got divorced in a messy divorce, I realized that I wanted to go back to when I was 27 and date men around that age. And so I'm like, okay, that makes a little sense, you know, with the mental mindset. But the guy's like, you know, you don't know what's going on until you have sex with a very older woman. And, you know, people will talk to me. Look, I like women a little bit older than me, but 33 to 73 is a little bit different from like 27 to 37, okay? So calm your goddamn fucking tits. So I feel like the guy was weird in that episode, but the 73-year-old woman, you know, it's cool. Good for you. You know, if you're a 73-year-old man and you're having sex with 33-year-old women, it's not that big of a deal. Apparently, we've, as a society, have decided that is normal. So go fuck yourself. A woman who can think her way into an orgasm without touching herself. Okay, yeah. So this woman's like, you know, just sitting down and like can think her way into an orgasm. it's fine. Everyone get off your own fucking way. But then she's like doing classes with like 5 people. There's like 3 women, 2 guys, and they're like getting themselves up. I didn't jizz, but I had an orgasm. Like, why don't y'all just fucking fuck each other? I don't know what the fuck is going on here, folks. I don't know what you're doing, but you could easily just have sex with each other, and you'll enjoy that a lot more than what the hell you think you're having in your head. Okay? So shut the fuck up. Oh, this one's a good one. The next one. Dude has sexual anorexia, and it came from child abuse. Okay, so this guy was like, he was having sex with his wife normally, and then he eventually just stopped, and it was like a trauma type thing in his head. And I get that. I get that idea of someone who's like, I had sexual trauma when you had sexual abuse when you were a child. Like, obviously, as an adult, you're going to have some sort of problem as an adult. It's just this. I watched the Woody Allen documentary. I'm finally fucking saying his name right. And Dylan Farrow, I hate fucking getting so serious. The woman he molested, who was like a small child at the time, like, she finds that in her adult relationships, there's like trauma in certain positions they have sex in, and it's shit. I don't like that shit. I guess this guy had this, but he's with a good partner. So he did what I think I would have done in the situation, because if I was with a partner and like we just stopped having sex for a year, there's an idea of, hey, look, we're going to need to actually schedule times that we're going to have sex. And whether or not we enjoy this or not, we need to do this, because eventually we're going to get back on track to what we want. And I think that's an idea I've had, but I have not said it as well as they did on the episode. Just letting y'all know. I've probably said it on this podcast, and I've not done it correctly. So that was a fun episode. Oh, man, this one. Woman in polyamorous relationship. Now, I've talked a lot about poly people. And in most situations, unless it's very rare in the situation, everyone is actually like okay with the situation. Now, in this situation, that was the case. There was one guy, the woman was poly, but the guy not necessarily was poly. So he's with her for a couple of years, and then eventually she finds another partner. And then he's like, I guess she's part of our life. And like, he's so jealous of the situation. I would not deal with that bullshit, folks. I would not deal with that bullshit of my partner's like, gonna date someone else. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that bullshit. Then eventually she wants to have a child, and she goes to her first guy, the guy who's like probably not into the poly thing, but is on it because she's that hot. And he's like, I don't think we're ready for a child. And then she goes to the other guy, and he's like, yo, we'll have a child. And they have a child. And then he has to raise the fucking child. That's so much fucking bullshit. I would not raise another woman's child in that situation. Now, if I was dating a girl, she's like, look, I have a child. I'd be like, cool. I'm going to be cool with the child. I don't know if I'm going to be the father to that child, but I'm going to be like the cool guy to that child. Like, what's up, dude? Let's hang out. If it's a boy, I'm definitely telling his friends I'm having sex with his mom. No doubt. I'm definitely doing that. If it's a girl, it's like, hey, look, I'm not your father, but we can be cool. And that's exactly what I'm doing, or whatever. But any woman who thinks they want to reach out to me and wants to be in a poly relationship, go fuck off. I don't want you. You're a trash human being. Next one. A woman gets orgasms while giving birth to child. Oh, yeah, she was giving birth. She was getting orgasms. So she had 3 children in the episode. The first 2 gave her orgasms. Third one didn't. And I have to say, she probably hates the third child more than the other 2. It has to happen. It has to be true. We know it has to be true. We're talking about the Learning Channel. This show is trash. Next show, a woman keeps urinating during sex. I think they fixed it. I think that the problem was childbirth, but I guess it was like severe enough where I don't think I'm in a situation where it's like I'm pounding a girl and then she's like, I need to pee. I'm like, all right, just go. Let's just get it out and get going. I have a small bladder too. I've had kidney stones when I was like a small child, and I just very much have a small bladder. So when people are like, you got to drink 8 glasses of water a day, when I hear that, it's like, if I drink 8 glasses of water a day, I'm going to be peeing every hour on the hour. So with water, though, I know they say eight glasses of water a day. No. Only drink when you're thirsty, and you got to understand, like, when you're thirsty, you got to drink water. That's the only thing you got to realize with that. But also, some people might be in different situations than me, and that might not be good advice. So don't listen to that. Next one was a man with a balloon fetish. A guy could only get off with balloons. He went to a balloon fetish party in New York City. And he's like, I showed up with 100 balloons, and I'm going to leave with a 0. I'm like, okay. Why are you putting this on television? Okay, thank you. Another guy decided he had no sensitivity in his penis, and he blamed the fact that his mother removed his foreskin, and he was upset about that. And so he created a device to regrow his foreskin, basically stretching out the skin around his penis and shit like that. So, good for that guy. I think foreskins are gross, and I think women who are okay with foreskins may be gross as well. But I don't know. I'm just one man. A woman finds out she has 2 vaginas. We talked about that in a couple episodes ago, but this is different. She has 2 ovaries, but 1 actual vagina. So that was clickbait I was not happy with. And so her actual idea of like having a child is different. So, okay. So we have like 2 more. A man has a fat fetish, and he convinced his girlfriend to reach a goal of getting to 1,000 pounds. Now, you all know my idea on bodies. Look, obesity is not a good thing. However, like the idea of like a healthy body type is not being portrayed. This is not a good thing to gain 1,000 pounds for a man to have sex with you. She's already like at 600 pounds. It's not healthy. I don't think it's good. Last one I have, a man drinks his wife's breast milk. Now, she enjoys it when he drinks her breast milk. And also, a fact I feel like I need to bring up, they're both not good looking. Like, it is not a good looking thing. And he's like, I like my wife's breast milk, and it makes me so excited when she gets pregnant. I'm like, oh God, this is the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my goddamn fucking life. Okay. That's all I have to say on the quality TLC content. Next one I watched was Q Into the Storm. So this is about QAnon, or as I like to say on the show, Quailanon. QAnon is the actual name of it. I'm going to say Quailanon because it's a habit for me. And so don't miss me with that bullshit. So I watched that HBO documentary. It was actually really well done. Let me go into all my topics I had. So initially, I don't like pay attention to more like conservative news sources because I know they pay attention to that shit anymore. So I just block that shit out of anything I do in life. So QAnon, I guess, existed during this time. It was like a news website. Turns out it was just like one guy on the internet on 8chan. So at the beginning of this thing, they interview a bunch of fucking dopes and YouTubers known as QTubers. I mean, I like Pokemon, so I know Poketubers. They're QTubers. Bunch of fucking dopes and fucking R words, which is Republican, which I hope you get what the hell I'm trying to say with that. They call it themselves like they refer to their new life, this life they're currently living, as red pills, meaning it's like the fucking movie The Matrix. You take the red pill to understand the world around you, and the blue pill to just live your normal life. They're like, I'm red pilled. I know what the fuck is going on with this fucking shit. I know that fucking Hillary Clinton has a pizza parlor that's for molesting children and eating babies. I'm like, that sounds fucking R-worded. And yeah, so you know the type of people who fucking believe this. We all know someone who believes this shit, and I am willing to call them out on how R-worded they are. Folks, I am willing to do that. So you go into that, and Q is posting a lot on 8chan, so we get to the point where the guy who created the documentary, meets the inventor or founder of 8chan, which is a cesspool for cute posts. I wrote that in my notes. Frederick Brennan. Now, Frederick Brennan has a brittle bone disease, which I don't think is funny. And I know they kind of made a couple jokes, or at least Ron made a couple jokes in the documentary about Frederick, but I don't think there's anything funny about that. That makes me feel sad. And like I said, if something makes me feel sad, I'm avoiding it. So we're not making fun of his brittle bone disease, FYI, at all. So, like, you learn his little backstory. He created 8chan because he wanted to create, like, a website that was a mix between Reddit and 4chan, and I guess that was what 8chan was. But before he created 8chan, he was actually on an incel website, which I cannot remember the name, had something to do with wizards. And so he started as an incel, but then he met a woman. She was actually very good looking. She had a fetish for disabled men. Like I said, he had brittle bone disease, and he was in a wheelchair, and he's not that big of a guy. And so he was kicked out of the incel group for having sex. And so he had to, like, do a walk of shame. I just imagine me getting kicked out of a group that's like, you had sex, therefore we kick you out. I'm like, sorry, man, I'm out. I wish I could do better by you, but I had my dick handled by a real woman. And so that's how he created the website. So created his website. And so then he meets Jim and Ron Watkins. Now, Jim bought 8chan, and he was like, so technically he bought it. And though 8chan makes zero money, he's very persistent in making sure that 8chan exists. But also Ron, his son, is also the one who, like, runs 8chan, but his dad bought it. So they're like, oh, look, 8chan doesn't make any money. I don't know why you're so consistent about it. And, like, so, like, they do, like, a ton of interviews over time about it, and you're like, oh, 8chan's stupid. I don't know why. I just bought it for my son. It's so fucking stupid. But eventually they have to change it to 8kun because Frederick goes in like, I wish I never made 8chan, so they changed it to 8kun and shit like that. And they keep running it, and they're like, we believe in free speech, but also we're not political, but we also are political. You, like, find that out over time in the documentary. Like, oh yeah, they're very into politics and they're very pro-Trump. So they basically have to change it to 8kun, or whatever the fuck is. Yeah, 8kun. But Frederick keeps attacking them with all this random ass thing, and so, like, Frederick makes a penis joke about Jim, and Jim's like, I'm gonna send a lawyer, and then eventually, because Filipino law, they don't have, like, free speech like we do in America, and so, like, eventually, like, his lawyer gets word of that and is like, hey man, you're gonna be indicted and sent to prison. But Frederick is also had brittle bone disease, very, very, very disabled, and so I guess the guy who is doing the documentary flew to the Philippines, helped Frederick leave the country, get to California as quickly as possible, and he avoided jail sentence because in the Philippines, jail means you're basically fucking dead. So he actually did save a life. The ends justify the memes, if you want to say, but, like, also, yeah, no, like, you watch it through and through. Jim and Ron, like, are cracking through it, and they're like, we very much like QAnon and shit like that, and, like, we very much follow it. Eventually, they go to, like, the January 6th riots in Washington, D.C., where they're going to have the insurrection or whatever the fuck, and Jim is with the guy who's doing the fucking, I guess his name is Cullen, who's doing the documentary. He's watching the insurrection happen, like, people attacking the Capitol, and he feels like, and it looks like he feels proud of what is happening in this situation. So, like, obviously they're basically Q. They're figuring this shit out. And so, like, you know, basically leads up to people being fucking dopes and then people being so fucking R-worded that they attack the Capitol thinking they're going to actually figure this out. We have the strongest fucking military in the world. America does. And you think you're going to be able to fucking hold a revolution? That's shit. But, like, Ron seemed very proud. No, sorry. What the fuck was his name? Jim seems very proud of it. So it basically concludes that they basically figure out Ron is Q or QAnon, and basically like, oh yeah, you are smarter than a bunch of dopes and you keep doing this shit. And then his Twitter didn't help out at all anyways. But now, figured out that Ron Watkins is QAnon, and I'm basically good behind that. Now, I do believe, I think it's Ron. However, did they get help from like the U.S. government or someone there? What the fuck is his name? The guy who does Breitbart, whatever the fuck his name is. Like, could he have helped? Yeah, probably. Other people, yeah, they could have helped. I definitely don't believe that. I definitely believe they probably could have helped that shit. But anyways, anyone who follows QAnon is a fucking dipshit. And if you're offended from what I just said, I hope you are, because you are an actual fucking dipshit. And if you want to meet face to face, I will call you a dipshit face to face. That is what I have to say about that. Well, hey there, Schwokelord. You just finished a full clip from the show. I hope you liked it, and I hope your brain cells don't hurt. If you want to check out more, we got more links here. We got full episodes, more clips, and the best of everything. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe, and like this video if you enjoyed it.